to Career Conversations on Nurse One.
It's my pleasure to welcome Rhonda Kenny to Career Conversations today. Rhonda is a staff nurse in Nova Scotia and a new recruit to nursing. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Mary.
So, Rhonda, can you tell me a bit about your current work? What do you do in Nova Scotia?
I'm a staff nurse on an inpatient unit on a gynecology and radiation oncology unit at the VG site at the Queen Elizabeth Health Science Centre in Halifax. I see myself as an educator, a caregiver, a consoler, do multiple of tasks every day.
How long have you been in nursing?
Well, I've only been in nursing about a year. I graduated in May of 2006 from a four-year degree program at Dalhousie University in Halifax. And there I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. And during that 4 years, I also took 3 oncology courses, so I could have more knowledge on the oncology floor, and that's why I went to oncology.
And you've been there for, how long did you say?
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
A year this month. Yep.
You're not a young nurse, are you?
No.
You're young to nursing, but no. So tell me a bit about that. Tell me a bit about your story.
I was a stay-at-home mom for about 15 years before pursuing my career, and I worked as a lab assistant prior to that for 7 years. So then I stayed home with my children. So then I decided when my child, when my youngest one was sick, was in the hospital, there was a nurse there that had told me that she had been in the nursing field for only just over a year, too, and she had worked prior for 15 years in the banking industry before she decided to go back.
Oh, yeah.
So she was also a mature student, a mature, nurse new into the nursing field. So at that point, I thought, oh, well, I guess this is obtainable. So I decided to look into it more and pursue that.
But what drew you? I mean, you met a nurse who had been in another field and then came into nursing. But was it only that conversation with
no,
her?
I always wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a nurse since I was younger, but some life circumstances just didn't make it happen in the past. So when I was back in the hospital and seeing environment with those nurses and all that, I then said, this is where I need to be.
That's amazing. So in the conversation with this nurse, it then brought back some of your vision of what you really had always wanted to do. How long did it take for you after?
Yeah, it took quite a few years because I had to upgrade some of my high school courses and that.
Okay.
Of course, I had been out of school for so long.
Right.
So I looked in to see what I needed to just even apply.
Right.
And then I took those steps. So that took about another 3 years.
Okay.
Because I had a family and I had a child who was sick, so it wasn't just attainable at that point.
Right.
But then I had to, once I got all that sorted out, I did apply and I was accepted.
When we look at nurses in their careers, we have this assumption that everybody just out of high school goes to university and then chooses nursing as a career. So do you see within your colleagues, do you see other nurses looking at, after having other careers, choosing nursing as what they want to do now?
I have. In my class, my graduating class, we probably had about 15 to 20 mature students that had careers otherwise and went back to school.
Wow. So let's talk about that, because even though you are a new recruit to nursing, you really come to nursing with lots of experience, both a world experience, personal experience, other work experience. So how have you been accepted in the workplace? What has it been like coming in as a new recruit with lots of experience, maybe not in nursing, but in life?
I'm very well accepted. The only thing that I find that can be a downfall for me being a mature student coming in is people tend to look at you like you have years of nursing experience.
Right.
With being older, being new, they tend to look at you like you have been a nurse for a couple of years, and that's just not your peers, but also other health professionals.
Right.
So that's the point where a person has to stand up and say, no, I don't know this. Exactly. New. And I think sometimes I have to remind people of that.
Exactly. So in the workplace, if you said there were 15 in your class which were in similar situations, how has your employer, I mean, they must also see that as a challenge for you, this expectation of these nurses know everything, but they're really on a learning curve. Has your employer put some strategies in place to help you, or do you have some suggestions for your employer?
There's not a whole lot in place, I would say, for a mature student at this point.
Right.
But I think with maturity comes the ability to maybe relate to some of the other peers easier.
Yeah.
In the sense that I don't mind speaking up compared to maybe a younger new grad that's a little intimidated by everything. I'm not as intimidated as my peers. Maybe.
Yeah, that's good. So you're new into nursing. You found a niche in oncology. What are some of your career visions? Where do you want to go with your career in nursing, Rhonda?
Well, where I've only been out a year, I'm not 100% sure whether I'll go back to university and get more education like my master's. But I do plan on staying in the oncology field. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
So I think I'd need a couple more years bedside experience, though, before I can just fully decide where I want to go.
Where you want to go. But you're content where you are now.
For now, yes.
Yeah. And so do you have any thoughts for nurses that are currently working, maybe in how they need to relate to people like yourself?
I think it's important to have a mentor, and I think it's really important for people to take the time to help explain things to us easier. If we ask questions, not to make us feel stupid. You have to get past that and realize that no question is stupid, and I think it's important to speak up if you don't understand something.
Right.
So I think the nurses that are out there, just to have the patience and the time to teach people the proper way to do something.
Okay. And any final words, Rhonda?
I just think in today's world where we're facing that impending shortage of nurses, and we see it now starting where the units are getting busier and busier because we're short, staff and stuff. I think we have to find ways to maybe communicate and work as a team more efficiently. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure where that is, but I think technology does play a role in that. Because I think, like electronic charting and maybe physician's orders or whatever would help cut down on some of the multitasks that we do that are time consuming, and maybe even on errors. Yeah.
To help you to do your job. Well, that ties even in last month's interview when we interviewed Chris Keble, and that's what he spoke about, how the lots of opportunities between blending technology and practice. So what I'm hearing you say that's both the technology, but then how mentors can help people like yourselves also integrate well into the workplace.
Right.
Excellent.
And I do feel very fortunate to have a job that I love to go to every day.
Well, that's what when we initially spoke, that's what I heard. You really love what you do, and I think it's inspiring that this was a dream what you always wanted to do. Because of circumstances, it took you had other things going on in your life, but you came back to what your original dream was to be a nurse. So I'd like to thank you for being online with us today on Career Conversations, and for what you are giving to patients every day in the care that you provide. So thank you, Rhonda, and we'll be in touch. I'm sure our paths will cross.
Okay,
Goodbye.
thank you very much. Goodbye.
Okay.